All right, whorehounds, and welcome to another episode of This Just In. Today we're going to be talking about episode 5 for Chucky season 2, Doll on Doll. Not in the same way we saw it in Bride of Chucky, though. No doll sex for the old Sci-Fi and USA Network. All right, so this episode picks up where episode 3 left off, where we got Buff Chucky versus Good Guy Chucky in a battle for the ages. That actually lasts about 5 minutes. But it was neat watching two Chuckies fighting. Seeing one punch him in the head and his head spins around and it goes back into place. Pretty comical. Good puppeteer work by the people doing it in charge. And it ends off with Good Chucky crucifying Buff Chucky. And we had a winner. Or do we? Those dolls like to play dead when they're not dead. Takes more than that to keep a good guy down. Alright, so we're back following the kids in this one, but as an end for me after the last 2 episodes, we get both stories kind of going at the same time, and it looks like maybe we'll get some more stuff going in there by the end of the episode. Alright, so going in with the ends. The kill in this episode, it was a pretty good kill. Not talking about the Chucky one, but another one. The acting in this episode was pretty good all around. There was some neat little nods and stuff like that in this episode. Overall, there's a lot in this episode that I thought was in on. And there wasn't a whole lot that I was out on in this episode. Breaking it down, though, the one thing I will say out on is even though we're adding more stuff in, like kind of collecting storylines, there was nothing to do with Glenda, Kyle, and Nika in this episode. But in the kids' storyline, the Buff Chucky's been defeated, and the Good Chucky leaves. So Jake takes the good guy doll away, and Devin's not believing that he's really a good guy because he's still Chucky, and he ends up pulling the knife out of the stomach of Buff Chucky, and when he does, the father comes in and catches him. So he's getting the ultimate punishment. He's going to go sit down in the main part of the church. I don't know the name of it, sorry. Don't go to church. And he's going to make him read the Bible. But he's going to make him read the verse that specifically tells you that when men lie with other men, they're evil. And they don't allow that in this religion. There's no gay men here. And we see Devin ripping the pages out of the Bible, and he ends up chucking that Bible and smashing the cross. Great scene. Don Mancini definitely knows what he's doing when it comes to writing about this stuff, because obviously he was a gay man growing up, and he knows what it's like to have religion in his life, and them not to be supportive of him in any way, shape, or form. We also get to follow along with Lexi. She's finally going to kick that drug addiction, thanks to her scene with Nadine, where Nadine explains to her that she watched it with her mother, and her mother died. And she doesn't want to see that happen to her, too. And the kid who died in the 3rd episode, his body was hiding in the closet. That goes missing, so we don't know where that is at this point. And then, in the Tiffany storyline, she's sitting there watching Liar Liar again. Good movie, but come on, Tiffany. Quit watching so much Jennifer Tilly. And she wants to know where Glenda went with Nika, but Glenn's not willing to say anything. And we see that her sister, Meg, is still there. Tiffany kind of gets nervous, and she goes and she changes her outfit when she's not sure what's going on. Meg asks her if she remembers this memory from when they were kids, and she doesn't know how to react because she's not Jennifer Tilly, so no, she doesn't know what this memory is. So then we go to Tiffany going to change her outfit, but she's actually going to the biggest surprise of the episode. She has the doll from Seed of Chucky in what looks like a giant bird cage. And inside this doll is Jennifer Tilly. So back when they did that swap, she took over Jennifer's body, and Jennifer is now in the doll. And Jennifer writes her a lovely check that says she's a prisoner in her own home. It's a good little scene. Nice to see that we got Jennifer Tilly back, but we already had her this whole time in Tiffany. So they play a little part in this, and how Jennifer Tilly in the doll's body says like how she has to sit there and voice over the woman on Family Guy, and how she has to write all of her own fan mail, and how she's been doing these voiceover characters ever since she got put in that body, which is ironically true. She has done a lot of voiceover characters since she's been doing Chucky. So it kind of plays into the humor of this isn't our real world, this is what's happening. She's in a doll, but she's voicing these characters, and they're just doing it from the house. And that's so that they can keep making money, so that Tiffany can live this extravagant lifestyle as Jennifer Tilly. So she tells her about these boys, and when she goes back and tells Meg, she finds out that it's just a plot of Blues Brothers. So then Tiffany turns into Tiffany, angry as fuck. She's going to run and go fucking take out Jennifer. She's pissed. She's going to scream at her. And Glenn and Meg follow her, and guess what? They see that Jennifer's trapped in that body. So this is a really cool scene because we get to see Tiffany kind of morph into Tiffany from Bride of Chucky. So I know a lot of this time I've been complaining about Jennifer Tilly's acting in these roles, but it almost makes sense now. It's like she didn't know how to be Jennifer Tilly, so she's been playing what she thinks is Jennifer Tilly based on Jennifer Tilly's movie roles. So that really campy attitude and everything else that's been going on, like that comes from her pretending to be somebody that she's not. So when she snaps out of it and she's gonna flip shit, you actually hear her tone in her voice change, her mannerisms change, and it's almost like a transformation. So I liked that. I like the fact that deep down she is Tiffany, and when push comes to shove, she turns back into that maniacal bitch from Bride of Chucky, which is where I thought she was her best. And she ends up killing Meg right in front of Jennifer Tilly and the doll. So, yeah. And then she explains, and that was also in front of Glenn. And then she tells Glenn that she has one more present for them still, and brings out the Glenn doll. The Glenn doll we haven't seen since Seed of Chucky. And it's a nice little moment. It is. Glenn says, oh, "This is me." So recognizes the doll from the dreams and sees that, yeah, that is where you came from. So they're going to take off in a car. That's how their part of the episode ends, is Glenn, Tiffany, Jennifer Tilly in the doll's body, and the Glenn doll are driving away as Tiffany set Jennifer Tilly's house on fire to burn it down. And she seems like she turned into a new leaf. Like she's finally going to be telling the truth now and no more lies. So we go back to the kids, and the kids, two of them, would be Lexi and Devin, are looking at the camera and seeing that there's doll parts everywhere, and they keep in their mind that's like Hansel and Gretel leaving breadcrumbs, so they want to figure out where these go. And when they leave, they see Nadine doing a baptism with Jake. So they're going to baptize Good Chucky, because after Good Chucky killed, he felt like he finally found his purpose. But when he heard how evil he was before, he's afraid that evil might come out again. So Jake's idea is to baptize him. And they do. So Devin and Lexi leave, and they follow these breadcrumbs back to this really cool scene where they're kind of walking through the forest, and as they get closer to like the shed, there's like these stakes with all these Chucky body parts and stuff sticking off from them. And it just looks really, really surreal. It's a cool scene, kind of reminds you of something of, I don't even know, maybe like a like a witch movie where they're walking through the woods and you see all these things on stakes and stuff, or kind of like how Blair Witch had random things in the woods, kind of like as a shrine. And they get up to this cabin and they look inside, and bald-headed Chucky, who they're now calling Colonel, is in there doing something fucked up to Andy's leg. So Andy did survive the crash. He's got a beard now, and he's got a fucked up leg. But is Colonel Chucky helping heal him, or is he torturing him? We don't know. Maybe he's already passed the Chucky soul into him. We don't know. And we find out that the doctor who sent the 3 kids to this school to get better is in there with them and referring to him as Charlie. So she must be a long time friend of Charlie Ray. And that's how the episode ends. Overall, I thought this was a very good episode. It was fun. I'm digging this season so far. It's got a lot more of the campy humor like Seed of Chucky did, but I feel like it actually lands well here, and it does good. And expanding on the lore of Seed of Chucky is almost surprising that I like it as much as I do, since I was not a fan of that movie. Even after my rewatch, like, I had new appreciation for the movie, but I didn't. It still would be my last one to go watch. But they're pulling in kind of like the best parts of that, and that's what I like about it. So overall, I would say this was a good episode. It's definitely leading up to ramp up for these last 3 episodes to see what happens. Who knows? We'll have to see come next week. If you guys have any opinions or thoughts on it, maybe you know what's going to happen next week, leave them in the comments. Maybe we can all kind of draw up our own opinions on what we think might happen. Until the next episode, guys, don't forget to hit a like, subscribe, share my content to other people who might like to hear about Chucky. Hit the notification bell so you can see when my next video drops. And remember, rest in peace.